Welcome back to the war zone, where we've already had 3 top seeds crash out early on with 2 newcomers nabbing a slot in the semis. Will we have another upset like that? Let's head down to the battle board and find out. 16 seeds fight for something to take out the flipping arm of Earthquake and the crushing claw of Pressure. Cobalt back again to take out Expulsion and Flowerbed. And the return of the 9th seeds Barricade, hoping to smash out newcomers Disco Inferno and IAF. Barricade. Rambot. They did very well last year, coming in 9th place with the strong armor and powerful ramming strength. They're back unchanged, which won't be a real issue for them as they're very fast, meaning the exposed wheel issue from last year, just like last year, won't really be that much of an issue. IAF. Spinner. Unlike most of the spinners in this series, this one's weapon can move up and down, definitely unique and also quite dangerous. The blade holding can also help the machine right itself, they think. They did not test it, but the wheels at the front are extremely vulnerable, and I don't like the welding. Disco Inferno. Spinner. A box armored in polycarbonate and protected by a flywheel at the front with the added bonus of being invertible. At first glance, you'd think this machine is going to be just fine. But then when you look at the rest of the competition in comparison, you realize that this machine is more like cannon fodder than anything.
Roboteers, stand by.
Barricade, the 9th seed with the powerful ramming power. High AF with the adjustable spinning bar. Be interested to see that work. And Disco Inferno with the flywheel.
3, 2, 1.
And extremely weak polycarbonate, and it's also quite smaller in design than the other machines. Oh, but look at that attack there! And what happened to IAF, the weapon? They folded it onto themselves! Well, that's a problem, isn't it? Barricade coming in to test the waters. I don't think there's any movement left. There's no life. They're dead. They're on fire as well. Disco Inferno's on fire. I think they're dead. Down goes the pit. IAF gone there into the bronze rumble. This is all hectic and chaotic and over before it even started, really. Barricade doesn't even know what to do. Now they're throwing out Disco Inferno into the pit. Barricade didn't have to do a single thing. And they are pretty much effortlessly through to the gold rumble. This is where it all went wrong. I think Disco Inferno did the damage. There went the weapon of IAF, and I think the blade caused problems to Disco Inferno too. I mean, that's one way to kick off the heats. Barricade effortlessly through IAF and Disco Inferno. What was that? Cobalt, Expulsion, and Flowerbed up next. Cobalt. Spinner. Back again after battery problems on the last wars, the entire machine has been rebuilt with new batteries, tougher armor, and a new deadly blade with front forks to lead opponents into it. In fact, because of the rebuild, the team says that there is no weakness for their machine. Flowerbed. Spinner. Well, it's definitely the most prettiest machine of the competition, but that doesn't mean dangerous or deadly. The undercutter blade is very strong when it makes contact to its target, but the machine's build is not very strong, and the wheels are the weakest spot on board. Expulsion. Flipper. The team may be new to the competition, but they've fought in many live events around the country, which will be a huge advantage. The front hinge flipper is very low and will have no trouble getting underneath and introducing the CO2 powered flipper, but it's CO2 and there isn't a limitless supply.
Roboteers, stand by.
Cobalt with the spinning blade new and improved. The very pretty Flowerbed with the undercutter bar. And Expulsion with the front hinged flipper.
3, 2, 1.
Very interesting to see. Whoa! Well, up goes a Flowerbed immediately. Now, they can run both ways up. And they're already taking the damage. And now comes the wheel! And I said the wheel would be the weak point to Flowerbed. I did mention that. Look at this. There! Off it comes. And that's gonna seriously cause problems for Flower Bed's mobility. And Expulsion, I think Expulsion's got some maneuverability problems of their own. They don't seem to be driving as fluently as they were earlier. Driving into the angle grinder, you know what, the undercutter blade of Flower Bed, to give it credit, is very effective. Meanwhile, bits and pieces come off of Flower Bed. Cobalt blade, definitely dangerous and probably just as effective, if not more so than it was in the last wars, because don't forget, it caused serious damage to Atomic and only lost because it lost battery power. It doesn't seem to be losing battery power now. Although, Flower Bed, I don't think I can say the same for them. Expulsion, I don't think they're fully mobile. They're more mobile than Flower Bed. Off comes another wheel, and I think one of the gears for the wheel, one of the wheel holders, if you will, off that comes. So that's going to seriously hinder that drive. Cobalt releasing the pit release button, and the front forks of Cobalt have come clean off. So, well, I think this is the most damage Cobalt's ever really taken. Really. And they're definitely showing their stuff in this fight, definitely making up for what happened in the last wars. Expulsions, there's not much life in them, but there's more life in them than Flower Bed, who are now in the pit. And now Cobalt to slam into Expulsion. But I don't think that blade of Expulsion, the blade of Cobalt I should say, sorry, I don't think it can do the damage anymore. Not as much damage as it probably could if the forks had stayed on the front of Cobalt, but they're not. They are gone. There is still movement. There is still mobility in Expulsion. Is there a lot of it? I don't think so. Is it controlled? I don't think so. I think one of the wheels has been blown off. They were up against two spinners, one of which was an undercutter. It is designed to do that type of damage. And that's one way to end it. Look at this. I don't think they knew they could win. I think they realized there was no way out, so they decided, let's drive into the pit. Perfect. Just beautiful. I love it. And it's great to see Cobalt get a win it actually deserves. Well done to Cobalt. Next up, Earthquake, Pressure, and 16 Seeds, Bite Force. Earthquake. Flipper. Fully rebuilt from Manta in the last wars, smaller body and more speed, which was something Manta lacked, but a similar powered weapon from last year, with the only difference being that the weapon's a front-hinged flipper instead of a rear-hinged. The team have mentioned that flippers are not their friends with this build, as it tends to more often than not end up on its rear, which makes self-righting very tricky. Pressure. Better than Razor. Are you sure about that, guys? Well, you've got the low front wedge and the big crushing claw to grab the opposition and do some serious damage and dump them in the pit afterwards, like Razor. But Razor has a self-righting mechanism. Where's yours? Bite Force. Spinner. Seeded 16th after their performance in the last wars with Hammer Force, with a complete rebuild and a new spinning blade. The new build makes it so they can run both ways up, and the blade is very dangerous, but while it can run both ways up, it does struggle while upside down.
Robot ears, stand by.
Earthquake with the front-hinged flipping arm. Pressure with their own crushing beak, thinking they're better than Razor, you wanna bet. And Bite Force with the spinning blade. Two veterans from the last wars with completely brand new machines and full redesigns.
2, 1.
So the question is, which redesign is better? Well, Bite Force immediately coming in on Pressure, but look at the attack there from Earthquake, flinging Bite Force over. Pressure now trying to get in, and the spinning blade of Bite Force trying to get for the exposed wheels. Bite Force now flung up and over by Earthquake. And this is a real great I like Earthquake. I like Bite Force. Truth be told, I like the idea of Pressure. It's a very unique machine, Pressure, and I would like to see it go up against Razor, truth be told. And I'm wondering, is Earthquake okay? I think they may have lost a wheel. Earthquake releasing the pit, and is Pressure okay? Now Earthquake's going to be careful, because if they have lost the wheel, then they need to make sure they don't fall in the pit. I think Pressure may be in trouble. There's no movement, and they are being counted out. I think Pressure are immobilized. Earthquake, there's still movement. Bite Force, there's still movement. This might just go Bite Force's way, truth be told. Or will it? Where's the movement in Bite Force gone? I think they may have lost battery power. The same with Pressure. So how is this gonna go? Well, there's no real movement. Well, there is movement. There's no real control in this. It has to go to the judges, but I think Earthquake will go to the gold drop. And they're throwing themselves over the pit. The one moving wheel over the pit. They can't move. Well, that was absolute insanity right at the end. But the judges have come back, and this is how that fight went. Earthquake into the gold, Pressure bronze, Bite Force silver. And this is how our 3 rumbles look. Gold, Barricade against Cobalt and Earthquake. The silver rumble will see Disco Inferno against Expulsion and Bite Force. First up for the bronze rumble, High AF, Flowerbed, and Pressure.
Roboteers, stand by.
The bronze rumble with High AF, Flowerbed, and Pressure. I feel bad for Pressure. This fight, really.
2, 1. Activate.
Went up against 2 spinners, and a wheel of Flowerbed's already come off. That's very fast, and Pressure actually had a hold of High AF there for a minute. Another wheel's got, actually, I think only 1 wheel's left on Flowerbed. And how is Pressure doing? I think bits of Pressure are littering the floor as well. Whose weapon is causing the damage? That's definitely High AF. And I think that was a wheel that was shattered. So that's Pressure gone. That blade on High AF is actually quite lethal. It's quite effective. Flowerbed spinning around on the spot. Pressure, they can use the crushing arm, but to no real effect. Is there any life left in these 2? I don't think so. Something's just flung off smoking, and I think there's still smoke coming from Pressure. Pressure, there's something on them that's on fire. The pit comes down. Off comes the final wheel. High AF nearly drives themselves into the pit. Poor Flowerbed. Poor Pressure. There's smoke coming out of them. You can see it there. And I think even Flowerbed have stopped moving. I think even Flowerbed's immobilized. The weapon may work, but there's no life left. Pressure well and truly immobilized. There's no drive. The wheels have been shattered off. So have Flowerbed's. High AF definitely impressive in this fight, and definitely looks to be quite the contender. Down the pit goes Pressure, so they are officially out of it, and so is Flowerbed, counted out and immobilized, and Flowerbed now being battered by High AF into the corner.
I should point out as well that while it may look wood, it's actually titanium. Just painted. It's tough. And I think that's all the damage HIAF is really going to be able to do to Flower Bed. One final onslaught. But that's the end of that. There's no life left in Flower Bed. They're immobilized. And I think HIAF's just lost battery power. But they're through. That is a lethal blade on HIAF. And we actually saw that in Battle of the YouTubers, if you've been lucky enough to see that on the main channel. Anyway, they're through to the Death of their Glory. Next up, Disco Inferno, Expulsion, and 16 Seeds, Bite Force.
Robot ears, stand by.
Silver Rumble, Disco Inferno with the flywheel, Expulsion with the front end flipper, and the 16 Seeds, Bite Force.
3, 2, 1. Activate.
Almost a surprise to see Bite Force here, actually. They were quite impressive before in the last wars with Hummer Force, and I think they've already done some serious damage to Disco Inferno. I don't think they have full control. I think they've lost a wheel. One of the wheels is gone. In comes Expulsion, and out goes Disco Inferno. Expulsion up and over, trying to self-right. Bite Force up and over. They can move, but I think they are struggling. Expulsion! Well, they've gone the same way as Freewave in the last wars. Look at this. And whee! Up and out the arena. I love it when flippers do that. They self-right out the arena. That is just absolutely beautiful. But it's cost Expulsion the fight, sadly. They are out. There's the movement from Bite Force, slamming into the wall. Why? You're through. Repair yourself for the Death or Glory. And as for our fallen competitors, they can pack their bags and head on home. They are sadly out. Next up in the Gold Rumble, 9th Seeds Barricade against Cobalt, and the interesting front hinge flipping arm of Earthquake.
Robot ears, stand by.
Here we go, the Gold Rumble with Barricade, the 9th Seeds, Cobalt, and Earthquake.
3, 2, 1. Activate.
Both Cobalt and Earthquake definitely seem more improved as Cobalt slams into the side, and actually the front of Barricade and gets underneath them. Now, Earthquake can get underneath him and does so, and throws him up on the side. And Barricade cannot move from there. They've righted them now. Barricade now slamming into Cobalt. Try and justify their 9th seeding, as well as to get revenge. Barricade thrown up and over. Back onto the wheels courtesy of Cobalt. This is quite the Gold Rumble battle. Up goes Cobalt thanks to Earthquake. Now, up and over again. Not toppled, but they are placed on the angle grinder and they cannot get off from there. That was a good flip from Earthquake. But now, Cobalt slamming into Earthquake, and I think they've lost the wheel again. There's no controlled movement. They had that problem in their last fight against Bite Force and Pressure. They lost their wheel. You can see it just dangling from the side. The front flipping arm still works. And Cobalt thrown into the air now. And now they are on the angle grinder. Oh, and poor Barricade, battered and bruised. They are counted out and immobilized, sadly. Now, what's gonna happen here? Cobalt, you better get off the flames if you want to protect the electronics. Is there any movement in Earthquake? Or has Earthquake ground to a halt? They're trying to get some movement, but I think Barricade's pinning them down at the back, and they can't really control that. Cobalt slamming in again. There's no real point to, though. Earthquake counted out and immobilized
Barricade, the 9th seed, counted out and immobilized. Cobalt, very convincingly, through to the Heat Finals. Our other two machines, Death or Glory. And Cobalt in very strong contention to make the semis. Wasn't even the grand finals. But this is our Death or Glory before we even get there. High AF, Bite Force, Barricade, and Earthquake. Only one of these machines can come back to the final to go up against Cobalt.
Robot ears, stand by.
The Death or Glory with Earthquake, High AF, the 16th seed Bite Force, and the 9th seed Barricade, surprisingly.
2, 1. Activate.
Definitely a surprise to see the 9th seeds here, but they're already slamming into High AF, and they've already lost the wheel as well. Earthquake and the 16th seeds Bite Force having their own little battle. They're all having their own fight, which is interesting. Bite Force up and over, and weirdly they're in a spot where they can't move, they can't drive upside down. Meanwhile, High AF and Barricade, I think, are locked together here, and Earthquake is putting them both in the pit. They're gone. The 9th seeds are out. High AF's gone, and Bite Force counted out and immobilized. Now Earthquake throwing them away into the wall. And throwing them out the arena. A very strong performance. Well done, Earthquake. Very convincingly through. That was, yes, just yes, all of the yes. What on earth was this about? Look at this. As the pit's coming down, I think Bite Force hit something on Earthquake, causing them to go up and over. They couldn't move, and then to throw out the 9th seed, knocked them into the pit, and High AF followed suit. And that makes this the 3rd heat where both seeds have crashed out and not made the Heat Final. This is how our Heat Final looks. Cobalt and Earthquake. At least we've got veterans. But which one of these machines will be going through to the semis? Let's find out.
Robot ears, stand by.
The Heat Final. Earthquake with the front-hinged flipping arm. And Cobalt with their spinning blade. Both these machines have definitely improved. Cobalt, to me, the more improved.
1. Go.
They've done so much better. They've fixed the battery issues they had in the last waltz, and they've flung Earthquake into the air. Ow. How will Earthquake deal with Cobalt? They have to avoid that blade. Otherwise, they will lose the wheel, and they will be gone. They will be out. Cobalt pushing them away. And this is good driving here from Cobalt. And now, oh, Cobalt! They're gone in the pit. They've collided with the Well, that's what happens when you have those type of forks, those wedgelets. They will clip the pit and you will fall. And that is such a shame because Cobalt were on top. But they're out. Only one of these veterans could make it through, and Earthquake showed to be the more improved. Commiserations to Cobalt, and we hope to see them again. But until then, take care, and I'll see you next time. Farewell.